Welcome to this Windows channel, and this is a little personal observation of things that are happening, and kind of a follow-up to the events of Wannacry, sorry, that wants to encrypt your data, and that spread, and it's still spreading. We learned yesterday that there's a new variant with the kill switch removed. That kill switch, which a security researcher by accident found. But of course, there's a new variant that came out almost immediately after that, and there's a few interesting details in there. First of all, in an article that I was reading, because I was figuring out $300. Some encryption viruses or malware actually, ask for thousands of dollars. They ask one Bitcoin. Well, about one Bitcoin is what? Something like $1,500 right now. So the idea is, I was wondering what's the idea behind $300, especially if you do this in a big company, a big company that has deep pockets can say, well, even if it costs us $1 million, we'll pay because we're going to quite rapidly, come back to normal. And the thing is, also about this is that there's a backdoor on this ransomware. So when you pay the ransom, you still have a backdoor that is open and listening on the internet, which is also very, very interesting. And one of the things I wanted to just adjust on what I was saying yesterday on my video is, first of all, remember that if you get this ransomware and you click on the ransomware executable, you can be infected even with the virus and the update that you've done. You can be infected because the virus itself doesn't exploit the flaw that I was discussing yesterday. The flaw that was actually fixed by Microsoft fixes the fact that you can be remotely, bitten by this bad software. So just an adjustment here in the understanding of how this works. So it's a ransomware that can infect anybody, but what the update that Microsoft did in March does is close the possibility of getting it through the network. So if, for example, you got it on one machine and all your machines would be patched, it means that the other machines will not get it unless you actually bring the executable file directly to the other machine and execute it, because it can't remotely do it with the fix that Microsoft has given us. Another thing also I want to come up with is, of course, a lot of companies are still using Windows XP, but there are two types of companies that you gotta remember here that use Windows XP. Some that have to and have no choice but to run it, and some that just don't care and haven't updated and they're bitten because they just didn't want to pay for upgraded, computers. So, of course, the ones that are infected because you're still using Windows XP when you could use something else because it doesn't matter, it's a little, it's kind of idiot because, you're trying to save money, but you're not, because if you get bitten by this, then maybe you'll pay the bad guys, and even if you don't pay the bad guys, you'll pay the tech guy to come and fix this. And, it's something that isn't making you save money at all. But there's a second type of device that is very, very common, and that also helps explain a lot of the spread, and especially when we think of the UK hospitals that actually stopped completely because of this, and let's hope that there weren't people dying because of that or anything. That is a more complex issue, because it's not just that yes, some IT departments and many public, things like hospitals and any government operated, event is one of the problems there often is the money isn't there for good IT resources, first of all. So that's one thing. But it also comes down to machines that have embedded Windows XP. And what's that? For example, tons and tons of hospitals have MRI scans that actually are on Windows XP. And the reason why is that these machines work and do the job that they are intended to. And it costs so much to change that, with new devices, that it's just, a lot of hospitals don't have the means to do so. And also the fact that there are many embedded systems that have Windows XP controlling everything, that, of course, when they installed the system, that was the latest technology. Thing is, it still does the job, but a lot of embedded systems also have another big flaw, is that they are often systems that the companies that made them just don't exist anymore. And so there's no update, there's nothing happening there. Some of these systems are, even if Microsoft released a patch for Windows XP, a lot of these systems is like, well, I can't patch it, or I don't know how to patch it, or the company that made it doesn't exist anymore, so I have no idea what to do. And that's also a very, very big problem in how things are happening, because, embedded systems is another story. And I've been reading everywhere that we have to put the fault on somebody all the time. I was saying yesterday we can partly blame the NSA. Yes, I've seen some, just put the blame on Microsoft and say, well, Microsoft's products are the problem and blah blah blah. I'm sorry, but Microsoft did what it had to do: patch the systems. And the other thing is, it even did something that it didn't even have to do. That's patch Windows XP, which wasn't something, and that Microsoft nonstop told everybody, you got to move on to something else. So, I think Microsoft did pretty much a good job in doing what it could. The problem is in the world that we live with all the mixed products and devices, and like I said, the embedded systems, within some weird, machinery that still is on Windows XP. It's a very complex world out there to fix all of that. It's also a very complex world because it takes a lot of money to fix these things. So that's pretty much what I wanted to add here to the ongoing, because it's still ongoing. I was looking this morning at a website that was showing how new machines are still getting infected. They're expecting that about 500,000 of computers will be infected total when this pretty much is at the end of its run. Now everybody knows about it, so of course it's slowing down and it's pretty much contained. But I've got to say, this is just the start. And another thing that you got to remember, this is the start of something big. We've got that, but there's so many things happening now, and there will be more attacks, and there will be more problems in the future. There will be worse than this in the future. And I think this is just a warning of, first of all, what's to come, but also what we should expect, especially with all the mixed systems and the IT departments that don't have the funds necessary to really be good at what they had to do, or even worse. It's pretty incredible. So I wanted to add this to the little information of yesterday that I posted. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up. What do you think about all this? And if you enjoy my videos, please give us thumbs up.